Thank you. Sorry for the delay, everyone. Morning, welcome to our presentation. We are from iCan team. I'm Yichuan. We are two members, Xue Hao and Hu Qian. Our fourth member, Wen Jue, is called busy in attachment, so she cannot be here with us. But I believe probably she's watching over the live feed. Today I will cover a few topics. First section will be cover the technical design of our application, why we design this way and how we do it. Second one will be the functionality and the UI. Is show you how our application actually looks like and what you can do. And I will do around 10 minutes demo because I believe the actual app speaks for itself. A university usually have a very big enterprise system, and as a current trend, they release more and more apps as a service to the staff and the students. So when we design our application, actually we ask ourselves a few questions. What kind of apps we want to do? We believe that should our application to be used by US, probably have to meet a few common standards and requirements as part of the enterprise mobile framework. So we set a few principles. We want our application to be easy to maintain. We want it to be scalable, and we want to native support for both iPhone and iPad because it's part of now it's a general requirement for enterprise application, and we also want our application to be user friendly. So these are a few requirements we have as part of the enterprise to be an enterprise mobile app. And second thing we pay attention to is the make it stylish. That's why we have actually half of our team are independent testers. We actually keep them away from the technical implementation so that they can give a fair review on the actual outlooks. And we did spend a fair amount of time on the testing to ensure that our application users have no need to tap for more than 3 times to get any information they want on IVOE. And thirdly is, of course, that's the user-friendly part. Because of our objective, we choose a few frameworks. I just want to give a quick introduction of it. First one is 320. Last night, actually, I take a quick view on other teams' presentation and the videos. I'm happy to see that at least one team have been using the 320 frameworks, I believe. So actually, indeed, it's a quite famous framework in the iPhone developer communities. There are a few features to make use of it. First one is navigation. This feature actually enables the navigation by URL in our application, so that actually we can map the URL to any of the specific controller and methods. So this will allow us to navigate from the view to view, just as page to page in the traditional website. With the 320, this concept, actually it makes easier for those developers like myself who are more specialized in the traditional website developments, so that it's easier for us to pick up. And I believe this is probably also one of the considerations as an enterprise is that you want to reduce the cost for training your developers and newcomers. And one benefit of this one is actually we centralize the mapping in one single file in the app dedicator, so that actually developers can see from one place for all the entire webs how it actually flows, the logics. And especially when your apps grow to a very huge size with a big scale like a few dozen views, so people don't confuse. At the same time, another distinct feature for 320 is that it enables styling. This was not supported by the native iPhones, but the thing is, as an application, we want the outlook to be consistent throughout the entire application. So with 320, it actually enables us to program a style sheet just like a normal website, so we can actually decoupling the outlook from the actual coding and stuff. So it brings you a professional outlook, especially when imagine your university have 5 to 10 applications. So you can have a master style sheet where it defines all the outlooks for all the applications. When you change, all your applications get updated at the same time. Another feature of it is that actually it has a very mature community built around it to give you updates and incorporate the cutting-edge technology into the framework, so you don't have to spend effort on updating yourself. And though there's one flaw of this framework is the lacking of documentation. Just like probably the common problem with all the open source projects, people just code and forgot to document it. So, but the thing is, there are a lot of sample projects built around it. So, to myself, actually, I would prefer to learn from other people's code. I think it's the fastest way to adopt a new language. So, you may still want to consider that. The second framework is just what we use for network communication. It's built on top of the native API.
it can support asynchronous calls, so that even when our user is in an unstable network, they can still use the offline support. And we use this call data. Is another feature we use. It comes with the native API. By using the call data, actually you have a database built in your phone, and you don't have to worry about the query and stuff. You just use it as an object. I mean, it could be easier for the developers to code and reuse the objects. This is general architecture. I will just take a quick one. This one follows the general MVC architecture for the iPhone developments. We have a navigator to handle the flow of logics, and another group for the views. Actually, we use 3 views. The reason of using them is that we want to make our apps resizable, so that we don't have to care about the size of the platform. Imagine in the future you have an iPhone 5 come with maybe 4.5 inch of screen. So these views are easily resizable, so you have a native supply for all the iOS device. For the web view for example, web view is what we use for the viewing files, to see webcasting, to go to outside browsers. So we have a fully functional browser inbuilt in our apps. As for the DB interface and the models are what we use for doing the network communication. I think I will just skip the technical parts. And for the data structure, this one is just, no need to look at details. It's just I want to show you is, for our data structure, actually you have a similar structure as database ER diagram, so that it's good to have this documentation for future development, and so that people, other developers can pick up the same thing. Now, finally, it comes to functions. I believe I've been talking about details too much. For the function-wise, first one we implemented modules. We already have NUS already have IVOE apps. Actually, myself is using it on my phone. However, what we are doing is many enhancement on a few areas. First is we adding some more information. For example, the status bar, so you can see whether your information has been successfully downloaded or is still in progress, or basically there's no information, so user don't have to wait anymore. Second part we enhance is that we're trying to present our information in a more direct way. So for example, for the module information, actually all the prerequisites, teaching modes and schedule was separate fields in the information. So actually we extract them out, we form them in a plain view. So user actually can, with one tap on the module, user can actually see all the information, the introductory information regarding this module. So they don't have to tap many times just to get lost in the navigations. For this module, we actually, for our implementation, actually we enables the full function of web browsing. As I said, when you tap on the URL link, they can actually open a browser within the app. So you can go forward, backwards, refresh, and do whatever you want within the application. Second part is the library. I believe this one is existing one from it's a mobile web developed by NUS. But what we did is actually from the module function itself, you can have readings from the modules. So you can see a list of books required, textbooks required by this lecture. By tapping on the book title itself, actually the application will do an auto search in the library and brings up this page with all the library information of the books, so you can see whether it's currently available or is held by someone else. Later I can show a demo on this thing. Third one is textbook sale. Sometimes we realize the popular books are already held or borrowed by someone else, so you may want to consider to buy from your fellow students just to save the cost and save the environment. So this one, as I said earlier, we try to make our code reusable. So actually you can see the same thing is implemented as the same technology as same techniques as we use for modules. It's a very fast one, and you can see the style. We have we have the actual time on the right. We have title. This one as what we extracted as a preview. If you use Facebook, you can see all the feeds. Sometimes they bring you a preview, like first 20 words of a post, so user can decide whether they really want to see this one or not. So we don't really have to tap one by one to decide whether you want this book or not. You have a very fast view over there. And you may realize actually the outlooks of the interface is consistent with the previous modules. The color, for example, the purple and the orange color, and all the textual color, this is defining our style. So it's consistent across the whole application. This is my personal favorite map. is within our application. You can, this one, before I say this one, actually I need to acknowledge the information we get from NUS. NUS have an existing map application. What we use from there is actually we extract out all the building coordinates and the building names from that application and put in our apps so that our user can actually search those popular buildings and get the information out. Because there's nowhere else we can get the information. Later I will show you a demo. This one can even show you the directory of your current location to your destination. Last one is student events. Currently, my own practice is I don't really look into it much, but still I want to involve in the university events. So we actually incorporate this section in is trying to encourage the students to see more updates from the events so that they will more keen to attend them. And same as our module information, we extract all the sub-information put in plain view. So it's faster, and you can see the outlook is still consistent with all the rest. Now it's demo time. I wanted to show both our iPhone and iPad, but however my iPhone couldn't link to a big screen like this, so I will just show the iPad first. I think the room doesn't like me very much. So can we use, maybe I just show on the screen over here? Or? Yeah, I believe so. Maybe you want to try it. Because when I use at home, it's very fast. I want parking, you can show directly the whatever you can see on the iPad on the screen itself.
The previous demo.
Yeah, they didn't make it. Then I think I use the visualizer to save the time. I think I use the visualizer. Just open this one. Because I want to show this is one, show the current location. From my laptop, I don't think it can be done one. This one actually is supposed to have a login page because I already tried at home this morning with a small demo. So actually the data you get over here. As you can see, actually we save the data on the phone. You can record data. So when user open, it directly come here. You don't have to reload again. But what we can show is we can log out. Then we can try relogging. I hate the thing when they display my password. Yeah, so you can see the status updates. It shows you where you are. So if you're, for example, user in your MRT, maybe it will show forever as your updates. This is what we put on screen as US. As you can see, for the list of modules, we have information such as owner, title, and time. You can see the semester's information on the right. You can see which semester it is. As for the information we can sort the application by module name, module code. So in case some students who are very hardworking, maybe have more than 10 modules, they want to have a sort function. As when each module, when you can actually do the two things. First, if you just want to have a quick view on the module itself, you can tap at the module. It will bring you to a very long page of all the information over here, schedules. Because actually we believe using iPad and since it's a very plain view, actually I don't think the information is overwhelming because we still group other information such as web links, announcement in a separate link. So somewhere we draw the line over here. Is some information we display in plan view, some information we give them a second link. So let's try. User can also from the first view, user can also try the, like, for example, forum. They can directly go to the forum and typing over there. We enable the function is for them to auto update with a very simple drag. You can see throughout the whole application, the upper items are still same color and same style. Again, you have a few previews of the information and title. You can go further in for the details. So actually, user only tap once, twice, 3 times to get from home page to it. We can also see some webcasting. Loading video sometimes takes a while. I believe this video probably have seen many times previous Teal teams, so I'm going to save your time on this.
Does this support, the video looks like it's a very small part of the whole screen. If you were to tilt the...
actually, the video you can just do a turning of it. Actually, this video is because the video itself, the screen is, you can see the screen comes from here, the full size of the monitor. So, currently we support 2 versions, MP3 and MP4s. Basically, it's limited by the OS. So we can also actually implement this one for those frequently updated information, such as work being forum. So we can directly refresh from the page itself. Let's try some web links. User can actually browse website inside here. This is our home page. You can zoom in, zoom out. Basically, and you can see here we have forward, back, refresh button. It's a fully functional browser. And one more thing about this is actually you can send email from our application. For example, this is our webmaster. You can choose to send a message or save content. It will prompt you to choose all the emails you have over here.
You always prompt you to choose, or is it because you didn't configure everything?
I never actually sent out one, so this one is controlled in the OS. Actually, it's already out of my application. But I think with there are a lot of apps help you can set this kind of preference. Then for the library one, I can show you the books for the reading. Where's my reading? So this, for example, this is one textbook we have for one particular module. So you can see the book number. By tapping at the book title, actually it helps you search this book in the library. And you can see the status of the books over here, the list of them. Good, is available. So actually you can go to the libraries. This is basically why we built this one inside. So because my personal experience is I have to search for the book name, write it down, then search in the library again. Now it's all together. This one is for the textbooks themselves. You can also get a very quick updates on the book information. So you can see whoever is selling over there, and you can see the style is consistent throughout the whole thing. You can see the time of their posting. Then it comes to our location. We have over 100 buildings information over here, which we grab from our NUS existing apps. So you can do a search. For example, I want to get Raffles Hall. So you can do a search, type on it. It will show you the location of that. And this is the location, and this is your current location. You can also do a direction. This will bring you to the OS very own maps to show you how you can get there. Probably this range is by walking. Of course, you can also do browsing of all the lecture status, that if it's already there, so no need to type. So we have over 100 informations over here, and this is pretty much for our maps. As for student events, we use the components. The building effort is very fast. So that actually our application, for our application, you can just reuse the code component to build other similar kind of functionality to retrieve information and display. So you can actually see all the links, and when you tap at the links, it will actually bring you to the page itself. It's again, it's the browser capability. So that concludes my demo, and just to summarize why we think you should use our application. We build many functions where users usually use every day into the same application. We do extensive testing to make sure it's easy to navigate, and the user don't have to tap so many times to get the information they want. And for day-to-day usage, I believe those are common functions. You want to see your textbook is available or not. You want to see your current location, because our campus is kind of huge. I always get lost within it. Then the professional style. Throughout the entire application, you can see the color scheme, you can see the setting, it's very simple. And in the future, if anyone wants to change the color style, it's very fast. You can just do it with a few clicks. Offline support, as you can see, before I log in, actually information is already there. So when user is not in unstable network environment, they can still see some information cached over there. And scalable, again, you can see the thing development. After we build the first module, the other functions is very fast. We can just reuse our components. So that concludes my presentation. So now we are welcome to any questions you have.
For the maps, right?
Yeah.
I mean, instead of just opening up the maps application, can the routing be from within? What's the reason for bringing it up?
Basically, first is our setup allows this kind of navigation because we have inbuilt web views. So all we need to do is pass in the location and bring it out so that the native apps can use it. Second thing is, for now, I don't think our coder can beat Google for their map design. If we bring in, so far, if I will have to bring it inside there, probably we have to use any API inbuilt in the iOS to construct our very own map page. But still, from the apps, first is within the app itself. When we first choose a location, when we print out the location on your application, it's still within the application. It's only when I look for directions. Because this kind of information is not available in our application, they have to go out to fetch from the server.
Because I have seen and created some whereby it just routes from within,
Oh.
so that you don't have to bring an additional view out. You don't have to go to the native Maps app.
Oh.
From within your app, you just use Google Map,
Mm.
just point to places, and it will route for you. And you can actually choose by car, by default, or walk. You can't choose bus. That would be so much easier.
Yeah, that's something new for me, but
Yeah.
we learn everything every day, right? We just one more thing every day.
Okay.
Thanks.
You mentioned that this also works on your iPhone, right?
Yes.
Can you show it to us?
Okay, sure.
Is it the same?
And the outlook is the same. It's just because actually for the look and feel, right, we never hardcode any location, any position in our application. In matter of fact, when we build the apps as coder, we only have an iPhone. We build it when we test the iPhone.
Built it on the iPhone.
Yes, we build it when myself, I only have an iPhone to do the testing. But I bear in mind that we need to support iPad. So as you can see, we don't have any special code just to support iPad. It's just when we program it, we keep in mind that we want to support iPad.
Can we take a look?
Yeah, sure.
Especially in the module.
You want to switch to-
Oh, yeah. So you can see the module list, and the link is still here in the auto fill outlines. This one don't have any information. Maybe we try this.
I think my feedback is it's very hard to press on all the brown fields because the fonts are too small and sometimes you end up accidentally clicking on the others and it's very frustrating for them.
Why not design as a nice icon to represent each with a number badge if there's new items? Rather than, because like that for me I feel it's very, the layout is very messy.
Very patchy, the brown color thing.
See, now the issue is that your UI for the iPhone is halted.
Yeah.
Okay, whereas your UI for the iPad doesn't make use of the space of the iPad.
This is where we actually try to make a compromise. Some information we show together, some of them we do the same step. For the typing one, yes, this one touch that probably is a bit small because for iPhone review, right, we actually tried bigger ones, but we don't want to be too busy on the screen itself.
I think I know what you're trying to achieve, as minimum tab as possible. But if let's say all these 5 or 6 tab information needs to be tapped from another screen, then just do it. Because by doing that way, you end up retrying more times than. I'd rather go to that section, and then within that section, I have bigger buttons for me to click. Then I always end up accidentally clicking on the wrong one. That's my feedback.
It's probably we can.
Even these don't clutter them together.
It's still quite small. So on this page, it can still be bigger. So even when they accidentally go into this page, they can still go to forum directly for this one.
My suggestion is don't try to be very ambitiously provide 5 links in the front page. But just let them come into this module and go into it, because
so
the chances of you always clicking on the wrong one is so high. After a while, people will not want to use. That's my concern.
I agree with you. So if we remove the link from the first page, probably the first page will need without the links. So the module is directly over there.
I mean, you can have the information that lecturers want, announcement, you can let them know there's updates there, but it doesn't click. It doesn't click because, and you do not need to use a color there. Just use another font color, or make it lighter, so that it doesn't look very distracting, because you just want to know that's the module, and they have all this information. And once they get in there, then you click on the forum if you want to go to the forum.
That's what we can do. The forum from menu, just display the information over there about the link, so they actually go inside, then they will click on the links.
Yes. These are just some feedback.
And the other thing is that I feel is that your organization of information is a bit weird, because see your bottom bar, you know that your iPhone bottom bar, that menu bar on your bottom bar is very important. There's only so much things that you can space on there. So why do you want to put like textbook sale there on the same level as a module? The organization of information seems to be a bit wrong. Unless somebody, the bookshops are paying you to put it there.
I think maybe it's a different, I don't know, because I think they're still studying. They do understand that textbooks style of things is something that the students may want to use. So I think we've been out from the school for too many years.
It's true. It's like the more modules, everything is crammed inside there. Whereas for the rest, it's like going. You know what I mean? The organization is
actually, we have some ideas about the textbook, but we later find out that the API doesn't support it. I first suggested they try to include a one-click searching function in the module, so that maybe in this module, you can just click for the searching of the text box that the other people are studying, but we found out there's no search function in the API. So we just list the text book.
Oh, so interestingly, talking about search, do you have localized searching? Localized searching. Yes. Because your information is so crammed inside one thing, so you don't have localized searching.
Yes, good question.
And your first page, whenever you come in, is to view the information about this course, is it?
Yes.
Okay. My suggestion is, this is the last thing as a student I want to see. Make it as a link, but rather think of out of all these, whether it's a lecturer's announcement, grade book, webcast, forums, or work links, which is something that the student will use the most. Make it that as the landing page. Yeah, that as a default landing page. Things like, come on, after I go into the course, I don't bother what's the aims and objectives, because it's something that I don't read. But maybe let's say you tell me that I will go to forum most frequently, survey with a friend. Maybe, or I will go to my workplace more frequently than any other thing. Then make that as a landing page. Then the rest all will be like additional, or maybe announcement. I don't know.
Yeah.
Correct. Use that as the landing page. Just a second. I mean, it's pretty neat. Like you mentioned, the backend architecture and all that. But the strange thing is, I think our charging don't look at that.
It's just that I find that when I
I mean, I
go to this
appreciate
app,
your technical concept.
yeah, I do, but when I go to this app, I kind of find that this app uses the purpose. I don't know what the app is telling me. What is the main feature of this app?
Actually, this is also kind of study in doing the process. First thing we try to do is modules because we do duration most. So actually we spend 80% of our time on the modules. The rest are extension because our previous design we were very fast. We build the rest of the function within 2-3 days. So that's why.
So
yeah.
the technical is there, but it's more on the organization of the bottom line. What Sharon mentioned, you need to reorganize so that more important stuff comes.
Yeah, so the focusing point will be usage and
I think you're very technical. We can see.
we
appreciate the architecture, the part. To be honest, unfortunately, within this judging mechanism here, we do not take that into consideration, which is good. I mean, from a design point of view, yes, it's good. But ultimately, what he says is we lose that appeal factor because what is this for? That part becomes a bit blur. Yeah. So work on the user's needs first, then look at the technical architecture, how to address it in the continuity and all that. Yeah, because right now your judging mechanism don't look into your technical architecture. So you cannot gain points on that. That's the challenge here. Yeah. Other than that, we appreciate that. Yeah.
Thank you.